Yes, the resistance to it. I'm just talking to Tyler right now and talking about how, like, people went crazy about my atmospheric river satellite image I put up this weekend. You're like, that's just rain, and back in my day, we called that a tiger, and, seven, and just saying things that aren't fucking relevant to anything. 82, they're like yelling. What do you mean? It's just like random yelling of weird shit. It's like, dudes, we're just trying to understand what kind of storm it was. Like, was it a hurricane? Was it a tropical storm? Was it a tornadic supercell? It was a mid-latitude cyclone with a tail, an atmospheric river tail. Okay, now we can define and categorize what kind of weather phenomenon. Why are you so against us knowing different categories of fucking weather? Okay, anyways, can't handle it. Just driving me crazy. Like 60, 70 people commenting about it on my thread. It's like, dudes, why so resistant to knowledge or change? Like, these new terms, like it's 40 years old. Okay, anyways, we got a big weather system on the BC coast. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God. I'll watch the video later. Hit like, share, subscribe, and you can have more of Unhinged Joey in your life. That's right. Yeah, so we have today a number of things to talk about. My face is in the way. Let's get over here and click on some stuff, and my face will go out of the way, I swear. See, there we go. Wind warning, 110 kilometer an hour max speeds today, developing late this morning because of this mid-latitude cyclone. It's not a hurricane. It's not a tornado. It's not we have different names for different kinds of storms so we can understand what they do. It's that simple, friends. So we got a mid-latitude cyclone coming in from the coast. It's not a hurricane. I'm not trying to scare you. I don't get any joy from whether or not you're scared. If you're scared by two words like atmosphere and river, you need some kind of psychiatric counseling. Okay, for exposed sections in over northern Vancouver Island, BC, Central Coast, high to Guay, a vigorous funnel system approaching the BC coast tonight will generate strong southeasterly winds today, especially over exposed coastal locations. Winds will strengthen later this morning and ease overnight. Now, on the South Island, we got the wind warning down there, gusting to 110 as well, beginning near noon, continuing this evening for exposed sections along West Vancouver Island. Same forecast, better more or less, gusting to 110 over exposed coastal sections near noon. In the wake of the front, wind will veer and ease to the southwest 50 kilometers an hour, gusting to 70 over exposed coastal sections this evening. And if we go inland over here towards the east side of Vancouver Island over to the Sunshine Coast, we got winds gusting up to 90 there beginning near noon, lasting into the evening. That's for the communities around the Strait of Georgia. A vigorous funnel system approaching BC coast today will generate strong winds, like we just said. Winds will ease below warning criteria in the evening, but it will remain blustery near the Strait of Georgia through the overnight. Meanwhile, over down here on some of our highway passes, we have the Okanagan Connector, Merritt to Kelowna, where there's a blowing snow advisory today. That's for overnight tonight, though. Not today, I should say, because that storm's coming in. It's going to create some gusty winds and blowing conditions, crosswinds that will make the snow go across the road and make for driving hazardous driving conditions, I mean to say. Okay, up to the Pine Pass here today. Snowfall warning, Highway 97 Pine Pass. A warm front moving across northern BC will spread snow beginning early this evening. 10 cents of snow is expected before temperatures rise and snow changes to rain on Wednesday. Changing to rain. Okay, so yeah, there is going to be a bit of a warm-up before that next big system comes in on us. That's something we kind of mentioned the other day. Got some big rainfall totals that happen in Manitoba, although they're nothing like the rainfall totals they'll be getting in Jamaica right now, where they do have a hurricane really coming ashore. It's really happening right now. These large rainfall totals will be dwarfed by what goes on down there, but nonetheless, for Joda, 45.2 mils was still a lot of rain. I've never heard of some of these towns. Gardenton, never heard of them. Snowflake, they had rain and Snowflake, and they had snowflakes and rain, Manitoba, and Gardenton, Emerson. You get the idea. That's pretty much lots of rain. Holy cow, they sure got some rain in Manitoba. Everything. Every town is listed here. Minto, Wawanessa, Nob Hill, Lakeland, every friggin' town you can imagine. Meanwhile, Nunavut, setting warm temperature records up to 5.1 degrees in Iqaluit. That's warm for Iqaluit at this time of year, friends. On the west coast today, we have the mid-latitude cyclone, the next one that's coming on in. You can see the big tail there from the comma. There, it's starting to dig in right there. Boom, she's a storm as of today. There it is. Nicely done. Storm, way to become a storm. You can see here, this is the warm sector, this whole front here. That's moisture heavy. Could see another atmospheric river event actually coming at us over the next week here. This has some of the structure, but I don't think this is quite the storm that we just had, say, on Friday, for example. Different levels of how bad can it get. You can put the L right in the middle of that little hook there that's developing. Boom. So here's the cool air coming in behind the cool, dry air, and that's what's helping poof, turn that into a mid-latitude cyclone. So developing storm today on the coast, major windy, maybe even see some hurricane force winds hitting some spots like Sullender Island along the coast today. Yeah, I even had a guy from my own town commenting on that atmospheric river thread. He's like, what did he say? He said, "You're just trying to sell fear." I'm like, what the heck? Have you ever watched one of my forecast videos? Am I sitting around here being like, "Woo, be scared. There's some green shit in the air over by Vancouver Island. Holy fuck, a red line and a blue line. Look the fuck out, everybody." Like, am I really trying to scare you here? Look at these squiggles. These squiggles will kill you. It's the end of civilization, a big H. You know, like, come on. Am I trying to scare you here? Like, fucking, it's a stationary high there. It won't kill you. Okay, I'm not trying to scare you. Don't be so scared. Fucking cowards. It's fucking unbelievable. Like, you're just scared of everything, and you're like pointing fingers at everybody else. Like, you guys are just scared, and you're just selling fear. And then they tell me like I'm a snowflake, and then they get mad about everything I say. I'm like, okay, snowflakes. I'm the snowflake. You're the one who's fucking mad about everything. And I'm not really mad about anything that much. Oh, the cow. Look at these things. See, these look like sideways music notes. Each one of them things delineates, each one of these little lines that comes off, it delineates 10 knots of wind speed. So we got like 35, 40 knots there along the coast. Gusting 40, it says on that one right there. G, 40, gusting 40. So some heavy winds along the coast. That's why we got the wind warnings today. And that'll blow your cat like into your swimming pool and stuff like that. You don't have swimming pools. You live on Vancouver Island. I get it. But I just say it, blows your swimming pool into your cat then. Whatever, blows a cat into a telephone pole and gets electrocuted. That's what could happen today. Look out for your cats if you're on the coast there. Look out, cats. Okay, so occasionally altocumulus up in the north there, so you can see kind of, this is the front section before the storm hits there. You can see the tight isobars. That makes more wind. Nice, well, it's kind of gray here today. Unfortunately, in the interior, getting that gray look already. Kind of feels like the snow is coming for us in Wells. I'm definitely thinking we're getting some storm. And look at the trajectory it's on. There's the warm front. With okay, look at that. See this triangle with the red dot, PL. So we're going to have a mix of rain there. You're going to have some freezing rain. And so it's not the freezing rain. Man, I was like looking for that word for a while, Mike. It's like the mix of, that's not snow, but it's like rain, but it's PL is ice pellets, Joseph. Okay, back to figuring it out. That took me, man, sometimes I don't know where my brain is on a day like today. Holy shit, a red line! Look at the map again, get all scared. Then we move to the afternoon where that warm front moves here in towards Caribou. Can't wait. The warm front. That's going to feel like Mexico. That's going to be so nice there. Holy cow. 40 knots, gusting 50 along the coast there. They're going to have some big time wind. So if you're on Haida Gwaii and it gets all windy, your cat might blow over to Prince Rupert. That's what we're talking about today. One of those cat blowing days there. Risk of a thunderstorm on the southern quadrant of that, which would be pretty neat to see for some of you. We had a lightning shot like 2 nights ago out in the middle of nowhere off the coast of Vancouver Island in the middle of the night. I was like, wow, that's unusual. It's one of those things, though. What happens is it's nice and cool aloft, and you get any kind of warm air rising. You can have thunderstorms pretty easily in these conditions, even though you think, well, thunderstorms, that's for a particularly kind of warm, crappy day. Yeah, it's true. It's also for a day like today as well. Play through our jet stream here one time just to get a bit of a look there. There's the ridging. There's a bit of a warm-up for BC there. It doesn't last very long. Here comes the shit again. Slam-a-rama back right in, and we're well below it and back into cool weather again before the next bump up in temperature may come. Maybe when this makes its way over at the very end there. So a little bit of a warm-up there in time for the weekend. I said I'd explain it to you. But basically, lows move counterclockwise, so this one's drawing the warm air up in the sector in front of it as it moves ashore there. So it gives us a brief warm-up there before the weekend. But then the weather turns back to crap pretty quickly, right? Meanwhile, there's Hurricane Melissa hitting through right now. It goes through Cuba. Bam! Stands a small risk of maybe affecting Atlantic Canada, although seems like this model wants to show it troughing out into the Atlantic properly. Now we go back, have a larger look at the GFS model right there. You can see high pressure over United States there south of us, but then you can see a big mid-latitude cyclone low somewhere around 971. You can see the next one lining up there. Over here you can see the hurricane that is going to be passing through Jamaica today and then over Cuba. Catastrophic Category 5 hurricane hitting Jamaica right now as I make this show. Next weather system comes in by Friday to BC. That's the next big slamorama. And then from there, we have a couple of days of miserable weather. Then we have another big storm coming and shot putting right in early next week. Shot putting straight into the province. And that's going to definitely make it snowy for all of us who live at higher elevations and things like that. Okay, well, I'm almost through. Let's have one look through the precipitation expectations for the next day or two there. We're looking at the annual surface map again. I don't understand why Environment Canada wanted to call it that. I'm a little bit shocked and offended, but here's the annual surface for you right there, the big H. Heavy winds this morning off the Vancouver Island coast, off Haida-Gwaii coast. You can see that snow starting to land pretty good in the coast mountains today. Heavy rain along Vancouver Island, hitting especially hard there mid to late afternoon. Snow picks up pretty heavy in Central Coast, North Coast throughout the day. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, now we're seeing that snow moving in towards Prince George area, seeing it moving in northern BC. Now it's starting to come over the mountains towards the Peace there. We can see the Pine Pass there, and this yellow is going to get buried underneath a bunch of snow there. Heavy rain there in the North Shore Mountains, heavy rain in the North Shore Mountains, heavy snow in the North Shore Mountains. Looks like it's going to be a real disaster trying to go over any of those passes down there. Highway 3, Highway 5. I expect to see more statements being issued for them. Look at that. Peace taking some solid snow tonight. Down the Coast Mountains, up the Rocky Mountains. Nice gap in the center there for the Caribou, of course. Towns like Quesnel, Williams Lake. So often you get missed by these stories and you're like, what happened? Nothing. They're talking about the weather, but nothing happened. Well, it's because you live in the rain shadow place where nothing happens. It's you chose to live where like the least... Okay, over that low is now forming on the Alberta side as it's passed on through. So there's our low. Really taking about 24 hours to go from a coastal storm inland to becoming an Alberta Clipper. Alberta Clipper right there, a weak one as it is. And that's our snow tailing off there by the end there in the Caribbean Mountains. Maybe we'll probably be the last ones to take some of it. Unfortunately, a little bit in the Rockies, mostly flurries there on Wednesday evening. Clearing out in time for the next one to come in before the weekend. So we get a nice day off there or two, especially Thursday, looking like it's going to be pretty nice for us. And it's after Thursday that the next real... messy one comes on in. So expecting some snow. Try to keep you up to date today if we get more watches, more warnings. It's early, so I totally expect that Environment Canada will add more. They like to do that around 11:30 or so. I like to make my videos in the morning. They come out. Then Environment Canada releases their statements. And I'm like, they released their statements. I need to make another video. So stay tuned because I might have more to say today. Okay, that's it for the show. Bye now.